Good morning, folks. Good morning. Another beautiful day and another week. We thank you, Father, for another day, another opportunity to give you praise for the talents, the gifts that you have blessed us with. I thank you, Father, for the talents and gifts you have blessed me with. And I thank you for an opportunity to share with the people around me. And so I've made these videos for the benefit of people who are making their own films or doing animation and would like to see someone who is working on something in real time. And so that is my purpose for these videos. This is a little short film that I'm making, and so I want you to be able to see what I'm doing as I'm doing it. And if you have questions or things that you want to know, because I'm doing it in real time, you can see how I'm doing it. And if you have questions about something, feel free to leave something in the comments, and I will do my best to answer a question for you. I'm working in a program called Rough Animator. It's a very user-friendly program, and you can do your animation, you can color and composite it. So it's a very useful software, and probably the best thing about it is it's very inexpensive. You can buy the desktop version of Rough Animator for $10, and you are purchasing it, so you're not paying a subscription fee. All right, let's move forward. So we just got a few more um, cells, or shall I say, it's a few more drawings rather, to color. So I'm going to bring this up to fitting the window here, and move her over here so we can color her. We'll go for the brush wheel. We have the solid brush here on the top, and we'll use black to do our line. Okay. Um, when you are doing clean lines, try and make the line without stopping. Try to see if you can get your hand to completely make that line without a break. And then more than likely, if you do it that way, it should be a lot straighter. Okay. I'll go ahead and paint that. Here we'll go back to the brush. The brush is set for draws behind so that I can work with a line underneath. Which is very handy because it kind of gives you a more clean image when the line is underneath. Okay. I flip back to the previous drawing to be able to see where the line is or what color line they have. Um, I'm going to do the box here. So I need the dark gray. And here I need to pick a line tool down here. I'm going to do the box because then I can put lines underneath. See? It's set for draws behind anyway, which is going to be very convenient because I do want that line to be underneath some of these lines. All right. Now I'm going to go back to the wavy line at the top, which is the one that you draw with. If a line comes out a little wavy or something, don't worry. You just go ahead with it. Okay, so let's see, the pacifier is that color line. And because we have this set it draws behind, you can see that line is going to work right behind the other lines, which is what we want. Okay. The jumper has a purple line. I believe that's all the way around. Yeah. I think that's all the way around. Yeah, it is. So it should be all the way around like this. There we go. Okay, let's see. Okay. Paint bucket on the skin. Hands. Let's see. The jumper and the shirt, that's a light blue. Yeah. Oh yeah. Okay. The jumper is, let's see, I think it's this blue here. Let me check that. Yeah, that's right. Okay. And, right. And I think the same blue is in here, I think. I think that's the same blue. Yeah, it is. So we'll go ahead and put that in there. Yeah, see, that draws behind is very handy getting into little cracks and things like that. Okay. Paint bucket. So there's the yellow there, and then the red is on the top. Okay. There we go. On to the next one. So let's see. Black line again. You're going to be surprised sometimes about the number of little mistakes that you can get away with when you're doing animation and color and inking and everything. You can actually get away with a lot of mistakes because the eye just can't see, unless you're stop framing everything and looking at it critically, you really can't see the errors because they're going by so fast. Even and particularly if something is on ones, you really can't see it. You know, maybe that's the reason why Richard Williams liked working on one so much. Of course, he was such a perfectionist, though, that even when he did stuff on ones, he was still very, very, um, careful with what he was doing. So, Richard Williams, in my opinion, is probably one of the finest animators we've ever had the luxury or the good fortune of knowing. I'm very happy that I got to meet him and work with him at one point. A very, very disciplined animator, and very much had a lot of passion for what he did. And I give him a lot of credit for what he taught us. We learned a lot from him. A very, very talented man. I think he could have been one of the nine old men, in my opinion. Could have been. I guess. I don't know. Maybe he wasn't old enough. But then again, he wasn't that Disney, so. But when I think of the level of work, level of his skill and everything, I can't help but think, gosh, he certainly should have been at Disney for what he contributed in our business. Um, it's a remarkable man, in my opinion. there's a lot of great people who work in this business, and Richard was certainly one of those people. So I learned a lot from him. I didn't work really, really closely with him. I worked at his studio on Ziggy's Gift, and my wife worked with him on Ziggy's Gift also, but also on some of the commercials that she'd actually did work for him more than I did actually. But just a very, very disciplined guy, and so anyway. So, so, okay, I think that's right. Right. Okay. All right. How are we doing? Yeah, doing good. Yeah. See if you can make the line without stopping. And that's kind of the I would say secret. I mean, I use the word secret. It does seem to have an effect on how it turns out if you can make that line. Just keep your stylus down on the paper. I think it makes the line cleaner. See, that's a purple, right? Yeah, I'm picking this now because I want the um. Yeah. All right. So let's see. See, I want to use the draw behind to keep the certain things underneath other things. So if I draw some lines on the top, see, I need to have some lines in the top and some lines underneath. So that's why I'm picking to put certain lines first down, because then the other lines will be on top, and then I can have the lines that I want underneath. Like for instance here with the box, these lines here need to be underneath, and you can see why they would be. Okay. Yeah, and that's purely because of the draws behind setting. Yeah. So, let's see. Oh yeah, right. So jumper. Yeah, see, like so the jumper, see, has to be. Some of those lines are going to be on the top. Some are going to be underneath. Not the easiest thing to make that line in one stroke, but you have to try. Okay. All right. So now should be able to. All right. So skin. So get in those little cracks. Um, shirt, right? Pacifier, and the jumper. Now it's a different side. Well, I guess we'll make this green. That's different. So we're not seeing that side yet. Okay. So let's see. Is that right? Yeah. Checking the colors on the. Yeah. Okay. It's pretty good. How are we doing time-wise? Yeah, we're good. Let's keep going. Let's see. Right. I mentioned a while back that you could technically you could copy paste color if you want to. It would save you work at times, but I've noticed that copying pasting color elements, sometimes what happens is you end up with, let's do a save here. Sometimes what you end up with when you copy paste color elements is a diminished color on the copies. So I tend to not do it for that reason. Let's see here. Let's see. All those lines. Oh, yeah. Okay, so I just have to remember what's on top and what's on the bottom. Okay, so the pacifier is that color, and jumper, shirt, and all that color line. And there should be, see there I'm improvising because I didn't put it in the rough drawing, but there should have been a little line there where the jumper is on the, yeah. It's little things sometimes that just fall through the cracks. So you have to be aware that they've fallen through the cracks. And you might have to go back and include them. So her foot kind of slips out there. Yeah. Okay. Now you can see the face. Yeah, you can see why that line, why I drew those other lines first. Because I was trying to keep the face line underneath. There we go. Okay. There we go. Let's see now. So I got this line coming all the way back there. So that means this line has to come out to here. There we go. Okay, right. Maybe line. You know, one of the crazy things that for me getting used to working digitally was realizing that, you know, you're constantly going back and forth to get your palette, to keep the palette consistent from frame to frame. And it's just something that you don't really think about. It's like when you're drawing, you know, on paper, you know, you're drawing with one tool at a time. And so you have to go to pick up another tool if you're doing something different, right? But in with digitally, you're literally having to change the tool, and that's a discipline that you have to accustom yourself to when you're working, and it is something really new to you when you haven't done it before. And the first time I worked digitally, there was just a lot of things that I didn't really understand about going back and forth with the different platforms. And so I'd draw with something, and then I had a different tool in front of me, and I'm drawing with that tool as though it's a different tool, and I had to remind myself, like, oh, that's right, I'm not using that tool for this job. It's a different job. And we're getting close to finishing this here. Well, we're at 21 minutes. Let's see, we've got 4 more to do. All right, well, I think I'll stop anyway. Yeah, we're at 21 minutes. I try not to have these go too long. Okay, all right, good folks. Well, look, we'll stop here. All right. Okay. Okay, well, look, I'll see you guys tomorrow. Um, don't forget to thank God for, once again, for your talents and gifts. We did that in the front end, but just remember to do that. Well, looks like I got a little space here with the black here. Let me uh, fill in this little area right up here at the top. There we go. All right. Okay, I'll see you tomorrow, folks. Have a beautiful day. And don't forget, Jesus is Lord.